You asked for it, you got it. Let's do it. I'm back with another video. If you're new here, welcome to Alt Space. If you're not new here, welcome back to Alt Space. It's Cam, by the way, and in this video, we're going to be taking a look at BTS's explanation from an actual Korean person. The last video I did was on this song, and people were hitting me up in the comment section saying that some of my commentary was slightly inaccurate, and apparently the video that I was watching wasn't the correct one, and some of the lyrics were messed up and whatnot. I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into the song and find out the meaning behind it. No fluff, no messing around, let's get into it, people. Let me turn my phone on silent, headphones on. 3, 2, 1. Okay, before I do it, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I've got more BTS content coming out very, very soon. Okay, all right, I'm not joking this time, we're doing it. 3, 2, 1, play.
Another clever song. BTS rap line spitting out fire, just like Dang. But if you thought this song was to diss haters and crush them, well, I would say that is maybe like 50% right. It's actually deeper than that. So let's dive into the real meaning of the song.
Literally, that was what I thought the song was about. I thought the song was about them kind of talking about the industry and them, you know, not necessarily glowing up and, you know, kind of gloating about the success. I looked at it in a way where they were kind of looking at the world from a holistic point of view, from a bird's eye point of view, and kind of just giving their whole take on how they think the world is. Because the world is so fucked right now, right? And obviously this song was released before all of this stuff was happening in 2020, but the world's been fucked.
So Suga starts out with saying that the haters are starting to get triggered again, and they get triggered so fast that even before the actual fuel is poured, they ignite and burn themselves. It means that haters overreact and blow things out of proportion with the smallest details. And in that process, they don't know that they're actually hurting themselves with all the negativity.
Wow.
Now,
I'm so curious about this dong dong, like, sorry if I'm not saying that correctly, but that dong dong bit, I knew he was saying something there. I just don't know what it was because I don't speak Korean. So I'm really curious about what he's saying. But this guy is like super sick for doing this.
he's being sarcastic and calling the haters a pro, a player that enters the ring with a trivial little flaw and keeps on biting on that and doesn't let go, making a big fuss out of it. So 동네북 is literally translated into neighborhood drum. This is a Korean expression that means a drum that anybody can hit on, basically meaning an easy target or person to shit on. Is how Koreans pronounce the sound of a drum.
That's lit. It's crazy to see how the lyrics in the version of the video that I was watching, the lyrics video that I was watching, and how different that is to how he's explaining it and the lyrics that are in this. I appreciate you guys for sending me like the sources of, you know, people who actually know what they're saying and are able to understand it and decode it in a way that someone living in the Western Hemisphere wouldn't been able to.
The haters keep on poking with no reason, like a boxing player that keeps on jabbing. And if Suga keeps on ignoring them, they start to stab him. This expression 담궈버리다 is actually a very hardcore slang used by Korean gangs when they stab people with knives. The original word 담그다 would mean to put an object into a liquid, usually used in terms of kimchi or salted seafood called 젓갈. The common thing among these foods is that they are all red, liquidy,
like bloods.
and they go inside jars afterwards
Wordplay.
for fermentation. So you can see why gangs would use this word in that kind of way. And 푸 is a word that expresses the action of stabbing into something very deep and powerfully.
There is a lot of parallels to hip hop. And I'm talking about good hip hop artists. So people who are super lyrical, people in my eyes who are super lyrical, like Lupe Fiasco, there's nuances within what they're saying, even just from the sounds that they use, not necessarily the words, but just the sounds that come across and how that kind of pieces together to make this whole idea. And these guys, it seems like they've got that on lock. Like, I would love to be able to speak Korean, to be able to really understand the nuances. It's really cool that these guys can actually write songs that are catchy, popular, but also have these really detailed bits within the song that reference, you know, their culture in terms of slang, and also just wordplay, like how hip-hop artists do. That's really cool to see, man.
만에 하나라도 꼬로막에 굴거나 수틀리게 나오면 나가지고 창을 내가지고 젓갈을 담궈버리려니까 말입니다, 형님.
넌 어째 나이를 처먹고도 여전히 무지막지 아니? 여반 새끼. 젓갈이 뭐냐 젓갈이. 아, 나 유한 새끼.
Now notice that the mimetic words 둥둥둥, 툭툭, and 푹푹 all rhyme with uk and each other, and they all escalate by each line, from hitting a drum to jabbing and stabbing. So haters start off trying to tease and make fun of Suga, but when he doesn't respond, they start jabbing and stabbing him. The truth becomes a lie, the lie becomes the truth. It's funny to see everyone suddenly becoming a morally perfect and flawless human being. And yeah, I know a little bit about this too, and it seems like the typical characteristics of many online communities and platforms with people that have nothing better to do in real life than spread hate towards others. Get a life, guys.
That was savage. Get a life, guys.
RM states that rage is an actual emotion that is sometimes needed. He says that people have the right to get mad at certain things, and that might be our history. The word history can be used in general terms, as in a nation or the world's history, or in terms of BTS themselves, like how their success and legacy was motivated and accomplished through anger. But overall, RM acknowledges the fact that rage can likely change the world. Now, Korea is a nation full of rage against many surrounding countries that invaded and colonized our land. Also, don't forget the most recent incident of rage impeached our former president as well.
Yeah. Oh, why is it lagged? Oh, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, these Squarespace ads are killing me.
Could look like this. I'm Brittany Ash. I'm a floral artist.
But he says that the anger that heads towards him is not 분노, rage, but 분뇨, human, and poo-poo. He says that haters are actually killing anger with their fake anger, and numerous people are tired. This negative energy or anger about stupid things haters throw around in the world is actually devaluating the power and impact of the word anger.
That's a fair point.
RM keeps on going by saying that your anger is not just killing us. We're used to that shit anyways. But the real problem is that people are getting insensitive about the emotion anger itself, since it's so normalized and thrown towards them and in every direction. He keeps on going by saying that human waste and indifference is a team, which is what the haters are and deserve.
Wow. Okay, this is the part of the song where I'm most curious about, because this is obviously the pre-chorus leading up to that drop in the chorus. I really want to understand what the core message of the song is, because usually that lies within the chorus. So yeah, I'm excited. Let's do this.
Then the rap line goes uk. Uk is a Korean term that describes the state of blood suddenly rushing to your head in a second right after you see something infuriating. It's usually used towards people who don't know how to keep their temper and are hot-headed. BTS cleverly translated uk into ugh, very similar to how it sounds in English. And it also gives that feeling
This sounds
of
like a
sudden
charm.
disgust or frustration. Then why does the rap line suddenly feel angry? Because of the haters? Well, not exactly. They're actually mad because of the anger that contains malice. At this point, they don't care about what haters shit on them anymore. They're angry about the fact that this pure emotion called anger is being used in such a malicious way to hurt them or others, which result in nothing else but harm. It doesn't change the world or history, and that's why they bring up the word 분뇨, human waste, because anger is becoming wasted.
Wow. Okay, the lyrics are pretty deep. Yeah, the lyrics are pretty deep. And here's the thing, I've also got to take into account that this could be subjective as well. This could be him kind of retrofitting his ideals of what the song is about, unless BTS have actually come out and said what it is. So I'm kind of taking it with a little bit of a pinch of salt, but just him talking about the chorus and what it means, and like how they've like cleverly translated that sound in the chorus to English, because it almost sounds like a chant, and you bop your head along with it, which gives it that catchy feeling. And then also the meaning of the blood rushing to your head when you're like dancing to it, like and then like the anger, like it's wow, yeah, I like that a lot.
Then J-Hope goes on and says that he's angry about the anger that got extinguished. In accordance with the previous lyrics, this means that J-Hope is angry that at some situations when anger was truly needed for like a protest or a good cause or whatever, it died out and didn't meet its final goal. Because the anger is being diffused towards random subjects like BTS themselves or, for example, DKDKTV. They don't care, and we don't care either, but if that energy were to be gathered and used for a meaningful cause, the anger could actually make an improvement in the world.
I think this is so relevant now with what's going on with Black Lives Matter. You know, I have my opinions on that. I'm not going to share my opinions on it. But it's very relevant to what's going on with the movement at the minute. And I feel like it's almost drawing parallels to the movement because, you know, in my opinion, again, this is just my opinion, it feels like a lot of people just have unnecessary anger and rage. And I think one part of the thing that this guy, DKDK, is that his name? DKDK, yeah. One thing that I don't think he's like touched on is that, I don't know if you can actually interpret this from the song, but some people are just enraged because they're unhappy with themselves, they're unhappy with their lives, and they use any opportunity to kind of get that rage off. And I feel like a lot of people may have potentially done that with the Black Lives Matter movement because their lives aren't going so well, that they use that as a platform to express their rage instead of actually caring about what the purpose is and for seeing it until change happens. But it's really interesting to hear that because one, it's super relevant to what's going on, not even just with Black Lives Matter, but in the entire world. There's so many different issues that are going on in the world at the minute. Also, we just need to be more aware of how to channel that and use these feelings to actually create change, because it's all well and good using, like DKDK said, fake anger to just shout and be emotional and just shout into a vortex of just nothing where it all just gets convoluted. And I feel like that's what social media has done to a lot of these movements. Again, just my opinion. I feel like all the opinions and voices and emotion, fake emotion, has all collided together and it's just got really messy. And people don't know how to use their emotion and their rage and anger to actually create change. And in that, once they get that dopamine kick of, you know, likes on their post and likes on their Instagram and whatever, that rage goes away and they feel fine. And they actually don't care about what the movement was about until they feel angry about something again, and then they post again, and it's just like a vicious cycle, but you're not actually creating change. So this is very cleverly done by BTS.
And throwing your anger at random people and make that anger useful and make yourself useful. In general, they go on promoting anger. They say be angry about things that are not just in this society. However, to the haters, this line has a sarcastic double meaning. It's basically saying, yeah, go off as much as you can until you become ashes and break yourself, whatever, I don't know. J-Hope continues to say that he understands that anger is a powerful emotion that moves and rules the world. But then he says that some people these days just can't live without being angry. They're just too angry at every single little thing, and they go crazy with it. They're like, ooh, 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 ooh. Once again, he points out that there are thousands of reasons to get angry about. Either if it's for good or bad, it is anger. He says that unleashing your anger is okay, but he doesn't like the anger that harms other people's lives. So he urges haters to stop that.
Oh, I'm sorry guys, there's another ad.
So someone's actions can hurt someone, and someone's words can make someone lose hope, and someone's blink of an eye can become a moment for someone. Someone's anger can cost even the life of someone. Suga spits out of disgust. Although these lines are universal and it applies to all of us, here in particular in this song, because they went to the extent of mentioning a life, personally I think they had in mind of the tragic incidents that happened in K-pop last year. Stupid and useless actions, words, mockery, and anger were wasted on such meaningless things about idols and celebrities, that some of these celebrities were forced to make a very unfortunate decision. If you think this is a stretch, then you should listen to the next verse. This part is an impersonation of haters and netizens. These jobless people keep on saying stuff such as, what's the big deal about getting some insults? You guys deserve it because you guys make a lot of money anyways. So stop complaining.
This is one thing that I really don't understand in our society. Is that when you see someone with a lot of money, people tend to be negative towards that instead of be positive. I think a lot of people, if they saw someone driving a Lamborghini down their road, right, they would probably look at him and just be like, for no reason, or just feel some sort of way inside because of their own insecurity. I read a book, I can't remember which book I read, and I used to do this a lot when I was a kid, and it's actually learnt behavior. Like, I would see people in my circle, whether that's family or friends, whenever someone drove past in a Lamborghini, and maybe, yeah, their engine was a little bit loud, whatever, but people, like, the people that I was with at the time would be like, oh, you're a prick, you're a dickhead for owning a Lamborghini, like, who do you think you are, type thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, I read a book, I can't remember which book it was, and it really pointed it out to me that, you know, whenever someone has wealth, you should actually applaud it. Because the more you applaud it, the more you are open to that. And the more you're open to that, the more likely your mindset is to be wired to actually achieve those things, right? But I get it, materialism isn't everything. It's really not. And there's a fine line between happiness and how much money you make. I know a lot of people would say, I would rather be happy, I'd rather be crying in a Lamborghini than happy and broke. But the truth is, man, you can be happy without all the material. And the fact that in this BTS verse right here, which DKDK is going through, the fact that this verse is written in the perspective of someone who hates, it's just such a wake-up call to really start figuring out why you behave the way you do. And I'm only talking about the people who actually behave in this way. I'm not talking about the population, but it seems like there's a large amount of people who hold these traits in the world. from what I've seen, and obviously from what BTS have seen, and also from what I've experienced. So yeah, switch up your mindset, man. Switch up your mindset. Don't just be angry towards everything. Like, assess yourself. Like, don't be jealous because someone's got a Lamborghini, or don't be jealous because someone's going on more holidays than you. Like, that shit does not matter in the long run. You don't even know if that person's happy. Like, much to his point, to the fact that, you know, these people have all this money, all this fame and success, and, you know, they have to take their own lives, which is fucked up.
Common logic that many netizens would say whenever a celebrity brought up how they are suffering from or are planning to sue hate comments. Try me. Just let me be in your place. Let me be an idol, and I'd be able to deal with all of that, is what the haters keep on saying. Justifying the hate comments and undermining the pain celebrities have just because they profit out of publicity. Then the haters say the word ahem. Now this sound or word is used in English as well, simply to clear out your throat or show that you're present or give an invisible message to somebody who's dumb, who's not able to read the atmosphere, or to nullify the awkwardness after saying something embarrassing and on, like something like that. Anyways, as you see a lot of ahems in this part, I would say that all the usages and contexts would actually fit in. However, just to add one extra point of view as a Korean, the sound ahem was mostly used by 양반 or gondes in Korea. So 양반 is a privileged noble class during the Goryeo Joseon dynasty that knew how to read Chinese and study Confucianism and were superior in class to all the other classes such as mechanics, merchants, farmers, and slaves. These 양반s would use the word in diverse situations, like when they needed their servants or when they would scold them or try to show off their nobleness.
우린 과거를 보러 가는 길일세. 그 쓸데없이 방차지하고 있는 상급들 밀쳐내고 어서 방이나 한 칸 마련해 놓게.
보시다시피 양반님네 성화가 보통이 아니요.
먼저 숙박한 사람을 내줬다니 이게 무슨 경우야? 그리 못하오.
아니 저놈이 지금 뭐라고 짓거리는 게야? 가만 좀 있어 보시게.
양반님네들이 저리 순하게 나오시는데 방 좀 같이 쓰셔야겠소.
그래요.
제대로 된 과거도 아니고 그까지 잡고 하나 보는데 뭘 그리 볼 게 많은가?
사람 목숨 다룬 일이 그리 만만한 줄 아십니까?
그래봤자 의원 나부랭이가 아니냐? 너희들 하는 일을 의학이 아니라 의술이라고 부르는 이유를 모르겠더냐?
Also, 꼰대 basically means a boomer in the workspace or someone older than you that tries to force their way without any logic or reasonable reason just by the fact that they're born earlier than you. These 꼰대s casually use ahem to give nunchi, which is a Korean thing that basically means figure out what I mean or what I want without me having to say it with my own mouth. The magic word would be ahem, and everybody would have to shut up and comply. So the word ahem has a complex usage and nuance in it, but basically it would be best if you understood it as these internet keyboard warriors who think they are morally perfect, better than you, sitting on their high horses, trying to shush you and give you nunchi and saying, suck it up. So yeah, you could replace the ahems with the words like, suck it up, get over with it, or shut up. While BTS is receiving all these ahems,
I didn't realize how many kind of cultural references there were in the song. This is absolutely insane. Like, it spans beyond what you see as lyrics on the page. There's so... It doesn't go like this, but more so goes like this. It goes vertical and it just keeps going and going. Like, you could pick so many different things out of this song, and each individual thing will have its own meaning. And then another meaning behind it, and then another meaning behind it, and then another. This is the type of music that I love, where you have to sit there and you have to listen and decode it, like very much so like I've mentioned before, like a Lupe Fiasco or like a Kendrick Lamar. Like, you rewind what they're saying to actually get the message behind what they're trying to get across, which is, yeah, so this is dope.
listen carefully to the tone they're rapping with, you can feel a sense of sarcasm, which means at one point, BTS is saying the same thing, ahem, vice versa to the haters as well.
Yeah, that is sick. That is so sick. That double entendre of like the ahem of like BTS, because they're, well, not because they're up here, but because they've obviously achieved certain levels of success. They're now saying it to the people who are their haters, who are like, you know, basically the shit people. But then you've also got the haters saying that in kind of like a sarcastic kind of way, and then the BTS reflecting that and mirroring that back in a sarcastic way. That is brilliant wordplay. That is fucking sick.
In conclusion, this song is mainly about BTS's anger against how people these days waste their precious anger, emotions, time, and energy in stupid things like mocking celebrities, BTS, and internet figures, and on, which sometimes lead to tragic incidents, when this anger could actually be used in a revolutionary way to bring change in history or positivity. Therefore, UGH is not a direct diss song about the haters, because it seems like BTS has elevated to a level where they don't even care anymore about human trash. It's bigger than the haters. It's a declaration about the emotion anger itself, and a lament on the modern day socio-contextual usage or waste of anger.
Wow, that was very, very well explained. DKDK did a fucking phenomenal job of explaining that, or else I would have never understood those nuances within the song. Number two, the fact that there are so many nuances and references and cultural kind of tie-ins to the song that I would have never have picked up on. The fact that the song just goes really deep and as a concept is so relevant to the context of not only what happens within the world and how we live, but also on the internet, in our daily lives, like everything. It's just so relevant. Number three, these guys have got some nuts for making a song like this, especially in a, you know, in a world where you almost feel like you're walking on eggshells nowadays. It's very hard to kind of get a message across without someone being upset. But even so, this song is so clever that it flips it almost. It's not even a negative song. It's a positive song that makes you aware of the negativity that happens within the world, and they did a brilliant job of that. Thank you guys so much for suggesting this video to me to watch, because it was really, really, really insightful, and I learned a lot about kind of the meaning of this song and also the headspace that BTS are in when they create music, which has now got me excited to listen to more of their music and watch more of these videos to understand the message behind them. So shout out to you guys for sending me this video. I'm gonna lock it off here. If you're new here, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, because there's gonna be more content coming out. Get the fuck out of here. Have a great day.